love to start my morning either just drinking coffee, thinking, clearing my head. It is slower period for me, so I take a little bit more time for myself. I did talk about a very interesting subject, yes, in the previous video, which is exhaustion, and on a homestead. But in general, the message can actually be removed from the homesteading world, gardening world, and put it in any world. It could be the world of a single mother, a single father, a big family, a hectic moment in your life. So I encourage you, if you have the time, to watch my previous video about exhaustion. I'm going to link it up here. But today I wanted to show you something. Also in my previous video, I showed my pantry, and I just showed a couple of jars, and I didn't really talk about what was in those jars and why I can so much food. So I thought I was going to bring you in my pantry, and I'm just going to show you what I've been working on. Before I go in my pantry, I'm just going to show you what I was working on. I started canning sauerkraut. I know it defies the purpose of fermentation. I destroyed the bacteria because I processed them in my water bath, but I have a lot of jars in my fridge and we're not going through them fast enough. So I had two 1.5 liters, so about 3 liters, ready to go in the fridge, and I wanted it to last more than a couple of months. So by water bathing them, I am able to preserve them longer. They will not have the same benefit as the fermented one in my fridge, but at least I will not lose them. Also, I worked on a pectin-free apple jelly. It turned out terrific. And then I just decided to do a second batch and throw in some spices in it. This was cinnamon, clove, and something else. I forgot. Anyways, it's just a spiced one, and it's just a little bit darker, and it's set. So basically the magic happens with a jelly. You need 3 things, 2 ingredients, which is sugar, lemon juice, and a candy thermometer. So by the reaching point of boiling, you put your thermometer and you watch it closely, and once it depends of your altitude. For me it was 220 Fahrenheit, and I was able to reach gelling point. But there's so many tricks out there. There's a spoon, there's the candy thermometer. I got my trick in my cookbook that I talk about all the time. I think I've showed you, but I'll show you again. I don't say this enough. This is my canning Bible. I find most of my recipes in there. I found the apple jelly in this book. In the spice, it was exactly the same recipe, just adding spice, so it was not that complicated. Now I'm gonna bring you to pantry number 2, which is right here. So this is my laundry room, my husband's office, and my overflow pantry at the moment. I was hoping to find something to put the camera on, but I don't have a long feet tripod, so I'm going to try to do this as best as I can. I have a 5-tier shelf that is 48 inches wide by, I think it's 18 inches deep. My top shelf is for seed saving at the moment, and then I have this shelf which is dry goods. I have some herbs, licorice basil, some chocolate mint, cayenne peppers, dehydrated green onions, the green portion of it. I have cherry tomatoes in oil, dehydrated cherry tomatoes, carrots. I am trying dehydrated cabbage to add into cabbage soup. Arroz con polo, that's from last year. These are leftovers, peppers I dried. Hungarian paprika, which is another pepper. Jalapeno, another hot pepper. Sweet pepper, dehydrated. More hot peppers, more hot peppers, more hot peppers. Then I have some apple chips, which are apple dehydrated with cinnamon. This is a new paprika I'm trying. It's called Aji Delight. So I still have a lot to dehydrate. So before I put it in a permanent container, I just put it in there. And then I have dry herbs that I buy by the pound. This is Italian and thyme. I do not dry enough herbs for me to actually depend on the ones I have in the garden, so I end up buying them per pound. Here I have canning, a little bit of canning. I will add my, I bought myself a pressure canner. I know, I'm terrified. But anyways, I bought myself a pressure canner. I'm supposed to receive it by the end of the month. So here will be my broth and a bit of my condiments. So I have pizza sauce in half pints and pints. Kids salsa, a spicy salsa, which is zesty salsa. Then I have leftover from last year. I have different types of salsa. I tried jalapeno salsa, tomatillo, roasted salsa, and I have some ketchup and green ketchup. And then this shelf, I have my barbecue sauce. I have a couple of squash. My squash didn't do well this year. A friend came down and she brought me an overstock from her. So I have 3 spaghetti squash, and this is a delicata squash. I have my flour, and then here I have my potatoes, honey, and then soaps. And my computer's down here. So this is my overflow pantry for now, because my other pantry is near capacity. So this is what I have designed to help with the overflow of canning jars. I did not count the final count, but I know now that I've canned probably close to 300 cans, 300 mason jars, plus the overstock I had from the previous year. So I'll bring you in pantry number 1. Pantry number 1 is right here, down my stairs. In the dungeon. And I have no light. Our electrical system downstairs needs to be updated. So I have to figure out a way for you to see, and then I'll bring you in. Okay, well, the camera actually gives me light. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shelves, and it follows the stairs. So this is the staircases to go up on my second story, and then in the far back down there under the staircase is another shelf. They're not the same length, so it would be hard to tell you the measurements, but I have calculated that a quart would fit, and I would have enough space to tilt it and take it out. So that's how my husband and I design the shelves, and we have added a lip here instead of bungee cords because I wanted it to be more sturdy so that the jars, if ever we do have something, the jars don't fall off. I was able to get my light to work on my camera, so I'm going to start at the bottom. So on the last shelf, it's tomato produce, different types. So I have half plums. I had some yellow plum tomatoes, so I did that. I have some diced tomatoes in pints and also in quarts. And then behind me, under the stairs down there, is some pasta sauce. Same thing with pints and quarts, and I do have leftover from last year. Here is pickled beets in quarts. I have some non-spicy pickled cauliflower with garlic and just jalapeno, so they're jalapenos with no heat. This one is with jalapeno, and I did have an Italian version, which is garlic, mustard seeds, fennel, coriander seeds, and I've added peppercorn for like in time for a more Italian version, and then curry. Here is mostly carrots with pickled similar, but I just switched up the flavor. So I have a spicy Italian. This one is a spicy Italian. I have some romarin spicy, regular romarin, not spicy. Then I have some dill, and then dill version with no heat. Here I have a pickled cabbage and pepper relish with mustard seed and garlic, but I wanted it to can a slaw type jar. So what I did is I did the same recipe, but I removed the garlic and the mustard seed, and the recipe said that you could add colorful pepper, so that's what I did. And when I open it, I'm just gonna add water and olive oil and tweak it till I find the consistency that I like of a slaw. Here I have some applesauce in quarts. I made a sweet pickled pepper relish. Try saying that a couple of times fast. Gardenia jardiniere, which is a mix of end of summer pickles. So there's peppers, there's garlic, there's onions, there's summer squash. There's a lot of things in here. Cauliflower. I have a couple of jars of those. Then up here I have some ground cherry jam. I have some nectarine jam, some apple butter, blueberry pie, apple pie filling. I have some peaches and light syrup. And then up here, I have some leftover zucchini relish from last year. These are a banana sweet pickled with mustard. Then another recipe I made with the same jalapeno, so jalapeno no heat, and sweet bananas. I made a different pickle recipe. Then my hot pepper pickled relish. Then I have some hot peppers in pickle juice and cowboy candy. That's pretty much what I have here. I do have some canned soup from the store, some beans, and I have flowers, calendula flowers, some sage, and some seafood. That's pretty much what I have going on here. Now you have it. That was the full tour of my pantry. I still have a little bit of canning to do. I probably have 20 pounds of carrots left. I'm probably gonna leave it in my fridge, or if ever that doesn't work, I will freeze them, blanch them and freeze them. I still have 32 pounds of apples left to process, and I do still have food in the garden. I have beets that are coming out, green beans and stuff like that. So preserving is not done for me. And with the pressure canning coming in the mail, I will be adding beans and dried cooked beans and broth to the pantry. But what am I going to do with all that? Well, I'm still learning to use my canned food. I still buy sometimes canned food from the store, like cream of mushroom for express meals, because I can't can that, and beans. But since I am having a pressure canner now, I hope to face my fears and can the black turtle beans I harvested from my garden last year, so that I can have them on hand fast cooked, so I don't have to soak them and then cook them. So I'm I'm not going down the road of certain recipes that I enjoy because they are dry and it takes longer to cook. So by having that pressure canner, I might add a couple of jars of black turtle beans, and I might buy other dry beans and put them in the pantry. Like there's the kidney bean, pinkish red one that we like to use for chili, the black bean, and there's another one I like to use for I forgot the name. I use it for hummus, chickpeas. So I might order myself bulk chickpeas and can them so that I can have chickpeas ready so I can do my hummus faster. So just to give you a little perspective of what I'll be using how. So the pickled vegetables, to give you an idea, yesterday I had fried eggs with a piece of bread, some, it's called croton in Quebec. It's like a meat pate that I put on my bread. And I had pickled vegetables and a leftover cucumber from the garden. So that's how we're going to be eating part of our vegetable intake over the winter. Obviously I have some frozen and I still have some coming out of the garden, and I planted a fall winter garden, and I have some in my high tunnel that I'm trying to plug my my wood stove so that I can have broccoli and cauliflower over the colder months, maybe until January, or until I can't open my door anymore. So fresh vegetable, it will be going lower and lower and lower during the colder months, and we'll be relying on the pickled vegetables and on the frozen vegetables that I have frozen in the freezers. Diced tomatoes will be used in soups, stews, and pasta sauce. I didn't can enough sauce this year, so I'm going to be using diced tomatoes and pasta sauce. Pasta sauce is pasta sauce. Stuffed cabbage also, I'll be using that. And salsa, I am using it for Spanish, Mexican rice, and just salsa with chips. The half plums tomatoes will be for cream of tomato soup with grilled cheese. I have heard it is delicious. I found myself a recipe, so I'm going to try that this winter. The fruits obviously is going to be snacks for school, at home. The jams and the jellies and the butter will be for desserts, snacks, and breakfast. The pickled peppers will be for toppings or for pizza. I'm still new to pickled peppers, so sorry. So I'm still learning that. And the roasted tomatillo, I was not brought up with tomatillo, so I still have to adjust how I will be using it. But I've seen a lot of people just topping it in soups, stews, and fried eggs and stuff like that, so I might try that. The broth, which is, I cook rice in it to make it a more protein dense meal and more nutrient for us. Soups, stews, chicken pot pies, anything that you use broth in, that's why I will have that. And barbecue sauce, pizza sauce, anything that you would use, like pulled pork, pulled chicken, pizza sauces for pizza. I think I said it all. But I'm still learning, like I said. So this is a learning process. When I started the first year, I tried so many recipes, canning, and some I didn't like, some I enjoyed. So you need to find your recipes first, and then it's going to be a trial and error for the couple first years. But at one point you have your regulars, like pickled cauliflower has become a regular for us, and I always make sure to have a lot of jars on the pantry. And pickled carrots is the first year that I do it, but we really enjoy it, so I make sure that next year I will be planting more carrots to have. Instead of buying them, I will be using the carrots from the garden. And what else? The peaches. I can't grow peaches, so I know every year that my kids love peaches in syrup, and I make sure to follow deals, and I buy a lot. I think this year I bought like 10 crates, 10, 15 crates, and I canned them all, and I kept 1 crate or 2 for fresh eating. Same thing with nectarine jam. I had to purchase them, and I watched the deals to make sure that I push my money as much as I can to get more food on the pantry shelf. I probably will do raspberry jam with the jam. I made a video about me freezing raspberry jam, or I might do a jelly. I don't know yet, because the pectin inside, like little pieces, my husband really hates it, but he loves raspberry, so I'll see what I'll do with that, or we'll just do them for smoothies. Next year I might have some strawberries, so I can do strawberry jam. But mainly, whatever, if ever you're new to the canning world and you have no idea where to start, I just said that to a friend of mine. Write down the recipes that you eat on a daily basis, and that will give you a good idea of what you need to can. If you enjoy apple pie once in a while, well then if you go apple picking or you have an orchard with apples, well then make apple pie filling. Same thing with applesauce. If you enjoy applesauce, or your kids go to school, instead of buying applesauce, you can make it yourself. If you eat pasta sauce, salsa, and stuff like that, like make a list of everything that you eat, and it's going to give you a good example of what you need to grow and how much you need to grow. And it's also going to be a trial and error process. Like I am still experimenting with new recipes, and I find new things that I enjoy and new ways of preserving food every year. So this was my pantry tour. I hope I will make videos of recipes of how I use the canned goods that I've done over the colder months, so it's going to give you an idea of how I use my produce. So I thank you for passing by the homestead and going through my pantry with me, and I wish you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.